Hello friends, welcome to this video. In this video, we will create the sales dashboard. So let's get started and check how to create our data set. For data set, we have used here the item Excel sheet which contains the item ID 1 to 5, the item class and the item subclass. The second data set which we are using is again a dimension table, that is location, which contains the location ID 1 to 20 and location, which are the various states of India, states and cities. The third data set which we are using is a fact that's called the sales and order. It has the item ID and the location which connects it to the dimensions of items and location. It has the date, order quantity, order status, that is either open or closed, gross sales, sales budget, and the sales forecast. Now let's move on to our Power BI. The first thing which we have to do is we have to go to our files option and disable the time intelligence, because it will create an automatic date table in our model. So we have to just uncheck this option because we are going to create a date table, customized date table for us. Let's go to our tables. So as we discussed, the item table, which has the item ID, item class and item subclass, the location, which has the location ID and location, sales order, which has the item ID, location ID, date column, order quantity, order status, gross sales, sales budget, as well as the sales forecast. Now we have created our date table, which is my date table. We can create it using the calendar function, where we have passed the start date as 2020 Jan and our end date is 2021 March. So this is our date which starts from 1st of Jan of 2020 and goes up to March, 1st March of 2021. The next column which we have appended or created in this is the year column, which will extract the year from this date column. So this year column, we are using the DAX function called year and passing the date. So this will just extract the year. Other column is the month number, which uses the month DAX function and it extracts the month 1 to 12. So if you see for Feb, it is 2, March it is 3, April it is 4. After month, we have the day number, for which we are using the day DAX function, and it will give us the day, that is 1 to 31 for Jan, then again 1 to 29 for Feb, similarly for other months also. There is a column we have created called as period. So here our business requirement is the period should be 3, that is 4 months will comprise of one period. So for that we have used the if function. We have passed our month number. So if the month number is less than 4, that is Jan, Feb, March and April, it comes in the period 1. If it is less than 9, then it comes to P2 and other rest of the months will come under P3. So if we see in our model now, P2 stands from month of March, and for September, October, November, December, we have this P3 which starts from September. The other column which we have is half. Here our year is divided into 6 months. First 6 months is the first half, H1, and the next 6 are H2. So here if we see next August, July, they come in H2. H1 ends in the month of June. Start month. For creating this column, we can use the start month function inside the calculate function. To start month, we have to pass in the date from our date table. So it will automatically give us the start of the month. So if we see for entire Jan, the start of the month is 1st of Jan 2020. Similarly, if we see for 2021, we can see for Feb, if we see it is 1st of Feb 2021. We have used this filter so that the month number is less than 13, then only do it, otherwise don't. Anyways, the month number will be between 1 to 12 only. End of month. To calculate this end of month, we have used the end of month function on my date table. So if we see the values for Jan, the end of month is 31st of Jan 2020. For March, it is 31st of March 2020. Similarly, we have the values for other years also. Start period. As we know, our periods are P1, P2, P3, that is 4 months comprised of one period. The start of the period for Jan should be 1st of Jan. So for this, we have used this if function with the date. So if our period is P1, the start period will be, here we are using the date function in which we are passing the year, that is the year from my date table. This is the month and the day, which is 1 month, that is 1st of Jan, and the year is 2020. If we see it for till April, if you can see here, the start period is 1st of Jan 2020. For P2, if my period is P2, then my start date will be the year taken from my date table, and it is month is the month of May, 1st of May. So it goes up to August. For September, if we see if it is P3, then the 1st of September will be my start of the period. For end period, we are using the EO month function. Here we are passing the starting period and increasing an increment by 3, that is the next 3 months. So for the month of Jan, the ending period date will be last of April, that is 34 2020. Next we have last year start period. For that we are using a similar function like we had for startup period. The only difference is here we are passing the date, that is the year which is -1, the year which is in this current contest. So the start period was 1st of Jan 2020. So the last year start period was 1st of Jan 2019. For end of period, similarly as we used for the end period, we are using the end of month on this last year start period with an increment of 3. So here goes our date table. Now let's go and see our measures. We have a measure table being created here. The first measure which we have created is for open orders. For open orders, we have used the function calculate. We're calculating the sum of the gross sales where my sales order status is equal to open. If we go to our Excel sheet, here we can see this is our gross sales. So we are calculating the sum of this gross sales where my order status is open. So if you see the order status here can be open or closed, we're just calculating the open ones. Our next measure is open order week to date. So here we are trying to calculate the week to date for all the open orders, gross sales. So here we use the calculate function, take the sum of this gross sales from our sales and order table Then we are using the filter where dates in period. The date will be the date for our sales table minus 7 and this based on day. And other filter which we are using is order status is equal to open. The next measure which we have created is sales period to date. This will calculate the gross sales between our periods. That is, here we are using the days between the last state function for my start of period and between my end of period. So between those two, it will give us the entire sum. Next one is previous year sales period to date. Here we are using the similar function as we use for sales PTD, but here the days between is for our last year start period and our last year end period. Here we are filtering out any filters which is applied for the date table on the year, otherwise the slicer will give us an incorrect result. Our next measure is gap to sales budget. So if we see, this is the sum of the gross sales minus the sales budget. Here we have the gross sales, we have the sales budget. The difference between these two will give us the gap. Again, we have gap to sales forecast, which is the difference between our gross sales and the sum of sales for the sales forecast. And our last measure is percentage change in the period to date. Here, if our sales period to date is equal to 0 and previous year sales PTD is less than equal to 0, we are giving the value as 0 for the percentage change. If sales PTD is greater than 0 and previous year sales PTD is less than equal to 0, then it is 1. If sales PTD is less than 0, then it is minus 1. Else, we calculate the sales PTD and the previous year sales PTD difference divided by the sales PTD. So this gives us the percentage change PTD. Now, let's go to our model and see our connections. The item table gets connected to our fact table, that is the sales and order table, using this item ID column. The location gets connected using the location ID column. For date table, we can connect it with the date. So here you will see the dates are connected. If we do not connect this date, the filtering will not work for us. So it is important that you remember to connect the date table with the fact table. Here is our measures table. Now let's move to our report. For creating this report, we have 3 pages in it. The first thing which we do, as you can see here, this is the image. To insert this image, we have to go to the insert option and there's an image, and here we can bring up any image which is saved in our drive. After this image is done, the background which you can see is this text box here. So you can drag the text box from here and you can format this as required. So inside this text box, I have inserted this image and formatted this. The first visual which we have here is the open order by items. We have 4 slices here for the year, period, halves, and the month number. For this first visual, which is our pie chart, as you can see here, we are using the item class and showing the open orders based on each item. Here, if you see, the chocolate has 33.99%, which is the blue color. For open orders by location, similarly we are using the open orders, but here we are measuring it by the location. The next visual which we have is a line chart. So for line chart, I'm using here 3 different measures I want to compare across the items. First is the gross sales. Second is my sales forecast here, which is the blue, and what is the gap. The next is our budget gap. Here we are using the gross sales, the sales budget, and what is the gap between them. So if we see here for chocolate, we had a gross sales around 893K, and the forecast was 887K. So there is a difference of 6K. Similarly, for others, there is a drop because our gross sales was less and our planned was sales budget was more. The entire visuals, if we see here, can be filtered or sliced using our slicers. If we see for 2021, here we can see the all of these changes. Here if we have P1, this is P1. For halves also we have it. If we see 2020, we do not see anything. Here we have to remove this period. So for 2020, if we go to our Excel, the open orders are only for the month of December 2020, 1st Jan 2021 and Feb 2021. That is why if we see for 2020, we see only 2 items here, and even locations are also 2. And the period in which this was done is P3. If we go to P1, we will not see any data because December comes in P3. So December is P3. Your month also we can see 12th month had it. 9th month if we go, again it will not have it. This is our first page. Now let's move on to our second page. The second page is showing us similar 4 slices. Then the first visual is the sales comparison by item, where we are comparing the sales period to date and the previous year sales period to date. In the next visual, we are comparing the sales comparison by location. Same, the 2 values of the measures which we are using are sales PTD and previous year sales PTD. Here, if I see for 2021, we had the previous sales as well as the sales PTD. If we go to 2020, you can see only blue lines are here, which is the sales period because we don't have a previous year here. We have 2020 and 2021 data only. So 2021 can show us the previous year sales, but 2020 cannot show us. The third visual which we have is the items contribution. So here we are seeing for the gross sales how each item class has contributed. If we see for spices, it contributed 107K, fruit in 109K. Then the largest is for chocolate here. For the year 2021, if we see for both the years, then we have all the 5 contributions. The fourth one is the location contribution, which shows the breakdown of how each location has contributed to the total gross sales. So here we can see Hyderabad has contributed the maximum in the month of 2021. If I want, I can check for each month, which will give us the month of Jan, then the month of Feb and March. There wasn't any from here. Now next, let's move on to our next page. This page shows us the week to date comparison for the open orders. Here also we have the slices. So first of all, if we see for the entire year, we are seeing, as we have seen our data set, the December month, Jan and Feb, they had the open orders. So the order status is open. Open orders are listed here as we have it in our data set here, this open order. Sorry, the gross sales for the open orders, it is there. Next is the open order week to date. So if we go by date here, 1st of December and 13th of December do not fall in the same week, so there is no summation here. 1st of Jan, we have around 11k. 5th and 6th, they all fall in the same week, therefore we have a summation here for the 6th, that is the week to date open order. 31st Jan and 1st of Feb, they again come up in the same week, so we have a summation here. These two get summed up to be 223484. Again 16 Feb and 20 Feb, they come in the same week, so we have a summation. Here also we can check it by 2020. Then we'll get only the month of December 2021. If we see, we can go along for different periods, that is the P1 only. Here month, we have 3 different months, so if we see for month of Jan, we'll see only the Jan month here. The next visual which we have is a map visual which shows us the order comparison. We clear out the filters here. So here this map visual is based on the location. The size of the bubbles is determined by the order quantity which we have in our Excel sheet, and the order status has been present in the legend. So here we can see the locations which has closed as well as open orders. The light blue shows only the closed ones. So if we check it for 2020, we should have just 2 places which had the open orders. Again for 2021, we see everything was almost open here for 2021. Similarly, we can check it for other values also, months. This is the month of Feb. March, we don't have any values for March in our data set, so it's coming as full blank both the sides. Thank you for watching.